This is a bit more like it, isn't it? The old Saxon lifestyle.
We didn't have to come 75 miles to watch you drinking.
But it helps though, doesn't it?
Didn't you think today was good?
Very good.
I got really a bit down about halfway through the day because we weren't coming up with any finds. But then we got this beautiful little knife and
Typical Anglo-Saxon find.
Yeah, hopefully it's a promise of more to come. Well, before we continue with the serious business of the evening, can I remind you that the archaeologist who discovered the original Anglo-Saxon stuff around here was a great friend of J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote Lord of the Rings. So I think it would be a very appropriate place and time if right now we all raised our glasses to Professor Tolkien and our own Bilbo Baggins, Professor McAsty. Beginning of day 3 here at Sutton Courtenay in Oxfordshire, and we've got it. Our very first Anglo-Saxon Great Hall, and it's enormous. But in addition to that, late yesterday afternoon, Paul Blinkhorn, our pottery expert, came up with evidence of something just as rare and even more bizarre, a pair of totem poles. Paul, are you serious?
I think we can make a good case for it, yeah. If you look at the excavation of some of the high-status Saxon sites in the past, like Yevering and Cheddar, they found one of two of these enormous post holes. I mean, we're talking about things like a metre deep. They weren't structural, they weren't part of a building. They've got to be some sort of display thing. I could certainly see a huge pillar covered in sort of symbols relating to the social identity and power of the people there.
Couldn't they have another function?
They could have functioned as gibbets of a sort. I mean, if you look at the 7th century documentary record, King Oswin, when he was killed, his body was cut into quarters and displayed around the kingdom. Now, if you've just overcome an enemy king and you've got a chunk of his body, what are you going to do? Hide it under a bush? You're going to nail it up outside your house just to let everyone know how hard you are.
Helen, your body language says that you're not altogether convinced.
I'm not. I mean, I do quite like the kind of pillar or obelisk theory that you've got a pair of great big obelisks outside your front entrance. It does look good. But to go that extra mile and say that they could be a gallows, now we do have evidence for gallows, but from much later and from
I didn't say gallows, I said gibbet. It's displaying
a
dead body.
Paul, stop scoring points, because Helen's the boss, and besides, we've still got loads to do by the end of the day. And as Matt continues to explore this enigmatic post hole, Phil's finally got to grips with the rest of the building.
Helena, have you looked at this section? I think it's an absolutely cracking section. You can actually see the outline of the post in there. And the post, well, you can actually see more or less how big the post would have been, and it would fill the foundation trench. It's an arrangement, a deliberate arrangement around these raking posts. Look, you've got one here, this one here. Now, it's not a vertical post, it's actually slanting like that to support the wall plate. So you've got a raking post and a raking post, and then a big post in there in the middle. And if I'm right, we can start building that picture going all the way around. I reckon there's another big post in there. And how do I know that? Because we've actually got bits of chalk. And everywhere else we've had chalk, we've had a post.
Yep.
So we got one in there and another raking post. With a bit of a gap in here. But we got chalk there.
Yep.
So I reckon we got another post there. Raking post, vertical post, raking post, upright post.
Let me guess, Phil.
Post,
another post?
upright post, masses of chalk. And I reckon that's the way they put this building together.
Yeah.
So how high do you reckon it'd have been then?
At Sutton Hoo, they found a cauldron with a cauldron chain, and it would have hung from the ridge post of a great hall just like this. The chain was 18 feet long. So you have to imagine 18 feet plus the cauldron, plus it would have been suspended over a fire. So you're looking at a ridge post that's over 20 feet high. So a really tall building.
Hello, my name's John Gator. Time Team is fan-funded by Patreon. This vital support helps us to make new episodes. Joining Patreon gives you access to exclusive interviews, 3D models and masterclasses, plus lots more.